Have you ever been in a situation where somebody's asked you a favor or you've been asked to sit on a committee or do something like that? And really, in your mind, you're screaming, no, abort, never, I don't want to do this. But all of a sudden, the words that come out of your mouth are, yes, of course, I would love to do that. Well, you are with the right person, my friend. Hi, guys. I'm Zandra, if you don't know me. And I know that saying no can be one of the hardest things to do. I've spent a lifetime saying yes to things that I really meant to say no to. All right. And you've come to the right person. So don't worry about it. We're going to break down a few strategies for you and figure out a way that you can gracefully, peacefully, and kindly, whatever that reason is that you don't like to say no to people. And there's a multitude of them, that reasons that we don't like to, or people pleasers, all that stuff. We're going to figure out some nice ways that you can say no. Okay. And basically saying yes to yourself, right? And your goals and your things. When you say no to other people, it's not because you're saying no to them, you're saying yes to yourself. All right. So, again, if you're new here, my name is Zandra, and I've been working for the past, I don't hate saying it. It used to be fun to say 5 years, 10 years. Now I'm hitting that 25, 30-year mark, let's say 25, of helping people to figure out what they want to do and how they can get it and to actually create a plan to make it happen. I've been working with organizations, companies, nonprofits, First Nations communities, and individuals to figure out what's most important to them, help them cut away the crap so that they can evolve into the next best version of themselves. So, thank you so much for joining me today. And what I really want to get down to is, first of all, why should you say no? Okay, the big thing is to help you gain more time for yourself. If you're saying yes to everyone else's needs, you are not going to be able to say yes to your own needs. And generally, if you struggle to say no, sometimes you probably have struggled to say no all of the time. That's me. It's now I'm a little bit more, when I'm going to tell you some of the strategies, I'm going to be able to tell you a little bit more about how I've become better at saying no. And I'm going to start with that first of all. I'm going to start with my story. So, I spent a lifetime of saying yes, like I said, to people that I really meant to say no to. And generally, what would happen is I would procrastinate on the task. I would quit at the last minute. I would basically start to blame the client for why I wasn't able to fulfill this work. And, or maybe with a friend, or, oh, I got sick, all those excuses that we have when we don't actually perform. So I met with a friend the other day, a business associate, and she said, Zandra, I want to meet with you. And usually that means somebody's got some work for me. So we went and met, and I love her. And that's why I'm like, I am there for you all day long. And that's a big part of why it's hard to say no, especially when it's people that we care about and like. It's a different story if we don't care about them and we don't have a connection with them, but I really like this person. So she laid out this business opportunity, this job opportunity. And normally, I have a whole bunch of mindset issues: imposter syndrome, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being broke. I have a money mindset, a money lack mentality where I'm convinced that I'm not going to have any money if I say no to this. So that's been just a lifetime of that for various reasons. But in the moment, I was like, well, this sounds exciting. Oh, and I also have a fear of missing out. So that's another big motivator for me. But really, I had to stop and think, the most important thing that I do is, does this fit my values? And that's a big part of my ability to say no to people now. So back to her, we'll get in there. I said, does this fit with me? And I'll talk a little bit more about values. And I realized, so I asked a few questions, and I was just like, and it's one of the very first few times that I've really said a firm no. And I said, I am sorry. I just don't want to do it. I don't do that anymore. And she was like, really? And I said, yeah, this is what's important to me now. So I was able to lay out kind of what my goals are and what my values are in terms of the type of work that I want to do right now. And so instantly, and normally I would be convinced that she's not going to like me, she's going to be mad at me. And because I know that people like us the most when we're able to make their lives easier. So in the moment, I was like, I hope that's okay. Because I'm still working on it, like everyone. Is it okay if I do this? Or, she goes, well, of course it is. That's fine. I didn't know if you'd be interested in that anyway. And then said, well, actually, I didn't come with just one idea. I came with two. So outlined a second idea for me. So talk about a double whammy of the difficulty to say no to someone. She outlined the second job opportunity for me, a contract opportunity, and it did not light me up. It did not fit with my number one value, which is fun. And it doesn't matter what, and I know some of you are like, that's a value. Yes, it is. That's my number one value, is whatever the work that I do from this day forward, whatever relationship I have, whatever, anything, vacation, wherever I'm going to spend my time, energy, I am going to put it through my values um, grid, right? To go, does it fit with this? And do they always fit with all of them? No, sometimes but they better fit with the most important, which is really fun. And so I looked at it and I'm like, yeah, no, that doesn't sound like fun to me. And yes, there's this, and this, but I don't think I want to do that. Are we okay? And again, I had to check with her because now I've said no twice in the same conversation. And she said, that's just fine. I'm going to keep you in mind. There's things that we can do. And that was that. So overcoming my fear of saying no and having someone be upset about me. So that's the first part about figuring out how to say no, is why are you afraid to say no? That's super important to tune into yourself. And that's a whole self-awareness piece. So if you're struggling with that, don't worry. I'm going to have some suggestions around that. But it's really important. I spent, again, an early lifetime of not really tuning into who I was, not listening to my own voice, not doing the work to make sure that I know exactly what my foundation of my life is. And that's really what values are to me. And now being able to say no to people has become a lot easier because I know what my foundation is. I know what my mission is, my vision is, my values are, my goals, what do I want to accomplish? And so knowing that, I also know what I need to say no to, what I need to say yes to, what kinds of people I need to surround myself with, what does my daily schedule need to look like, where do I want to spend my money, my time, my spiritual energy. And it's with people, it's like with you. That's why I'm here, is because I know that you are showing up because we have a similar vibe going on and we have the same needs and wants in life. So you're like, great, Sandra. Again, so those are some of the first steps I want to say is no. But how else can you say no? So you've got self-awareness, you've got knowing what your values are, you've got having a strategic plan or a strategic framework for your life of knowing, no, this is where I need to spend my time, what's most important to me. So those are the first, and to me, the most fundamental pieces of being able to say no and not feel guilty about it, because you are so clear on what your goals are and what your time needs to be spent on that you don't have to second guess yourself. And is there always going to be there may always be a feeling of, oh, I still wished I could have helped out. But that's what I want to do, is give you some suggestions so you can alleviate it, because we are humans, so it can be difficult to not feel any guilt. I don't believe that it's an absence of anything. We're always going to have that because we're human. It's being able to manage those feelings. And really, that's what emotional intelligence is, my jam. But here we go. Here are some ways that you can really focus. So one, evaluate the situation. All right. So that you can make an informed decision. How do you do that? Ask a crap ton of questions. I used to be afraid to ask questions. I would just dive headlong into whatever. And now I'm like, no, I need to get focused and really ask the hard questions so that I can put it through my values grid, my goals to know. And for me, a lot of those things are, how long is this going to take? How many people are involved? What's the problem? What have you tried as a solution? Like, there's a multitude of questions that I ask now that feed and connect directly with my values. The next thing is to offer solutions. So once you know what the thing is, and you've kind of got in your gut, you got to listen to your gut. And to do that, you need to have that self-awareness of what your gut is telling you. If your gut is saying abort, 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 then or no go zone, stop this, well, then it's time for you to listen to that. But it's really important for you to have some go-tos. So I've got a handout, and that's something we'll talk about later. Maybe we'll add it as a little freebie to the website. But it's some steps of how to say no. So the big thing is politely share your point of view, and just say why you have to say no. All right. So that's a hard one, because that's where we get stuck is, but what if my point of view isn't valuable enough to the person that they're going to understand what my value is? So that can be difficult, but that's a first step. Next is to get into these offering solutions. So what are some of those solutions? If you need it done right now, I'm sorry, I'm booked right now. That's something that I have to say. And even if you're not self-employed, you can say it too. Right now, I have these 5 other priorities and I can't do it. If you're a soft no, so that you need to decide too, are you a soft no or are you a hard no? Soft no is, I'm too busy right now. I don't have the money. I don't have the energy. I'm sick, but I might do it at some point. That's a soft no. A hard no, no way in God's green earth, hell, wherever you want to go to, am I doing this? All right. No way in Las Vegas. That's me, because that's my wonder place that I love. So, no way in Las Vegas am I going to do this. So, you need to, that's part of that self awareness piece. All right. So, then you need to, that's going to help you decide what your suggestions are to get people moving in a different direction. So, a soft no is, I don't have the time right now. But if you have time for me to do it another day, that's what I'll do with clients that if I'm booked. If you happen to change the date, let me know and I'll see if I'm available then. Because I used to say yes and then try to switch everybody around, stress out. Now I'm like, well, maybe if I just offer them a solution, maybe they will change it. Maybe this isn't a hard date for them. So another one might be, hey, have you tried A, B, and C? Ask Tom or Sarah. Have you Googled it? Is one of my favorites with my mom when she asks me favors that I know she can find on the internet. Anybody, have you gone into Chat GPT? It's amazing the stuff I'm reading and the work myself and my associates are doing using Laura and Stacia and different people where we're asking that the question as well. So you're able to go find the information somewhere else. Are you able to find any volunteers? There's a volunteer organization where you might be able to find someone to help you move, right? You can also, and this is, you're like, yeah, and offer money. I would rather give money than my time. That's my saying in myself. If I can afford to say, well, hey man, oh, you can't afford to hire anyone to move, but I really care about this person. Well, then maybe I'll say, well, you know what? Can you find someone with a truck? Would you? Well, yeah, I got a buddy. He needs gas. So here's $100 if that'll do it. Right. So I can still say no, but within my financial ability, be able to still say yes a bit. Right. So that's a compromise. So there, all of these are ways that you can almost compromise your no a little bit, but still get what you want, which is a no at the end of it. All right. You need to, some of the other ways would be to, like I said, offer suggestions about other ways of doing it, hire someone, just going back through my list. I'd love to hear if you have any ideas. How do you say no without feeling guilty? What are some strategies? Do you offer other people suggestions, right? So those are just a few that you can touch base on, right? You really need to be confident and firm on your stance. And the only way you can do that is by being really clear about your values, right? What's important to you and what your goals are and what's coming next. So you really need to focus on that. All right. You need to focus on your boundaries, which to me are really about your goals. Boundaries are only there. Oh, you want me to go out and do this, but I have to get up early tomorrow and go do that. Well, I'm sorry, I can't, because that other thing is more important than this thing. And you don't have to tell them that, but you need to know what your own internal boundaries are. And that's what people think. They think that they have to go tell everyone what their boundaries are and that risk of hurting their feelings or doing something damaging to them. You don't. You can just say, I have something big tomorrow and I'm sorry, I can't do both of them, right? You don't have to say, well, I think you're a slacker, McFly, and I think you need to do this, that, and the other thing. You don't. You don't have to judge or any of those other things, all right? So it's something really important to know. What's my no-go zone? What are my most important things, right? So, and like I said, you can't ever totally get rid of, if you're a sensing person, if that's in your personality, a feeling person, You may never get rid of the guilt, but to be able to give yourself space to go, well, that's just the way it is. And it's an internal compromise as well. I feel this guilt, but this guilt isn't going to rule me, because it really is a wasted emotion. Guilt doesn't help anyone. Guilt doesn't help you. Guilt maybe just gets you to do things that you don't want to do. So if you're okay with that, then I guess keep doing that. But for me, that doesn't work. Guilt is not getting either one of us. I guess it would get them moved, but you know what I mean? I'd rather alleviate my guilt, but keep my time at the same time. And for heaven's sakes, it's okay to put yourself first sometimes, especially when you have big and awesome goals like we do, right? Like, come on, man. I know you got beef eggs, baby. And I know that you need to focus on those. And so do I. So you can't do everything. You need to be able to conserve some of your time to be able to do and grow, do the things you want to do and grow in the ways that you want to grow. All right. So acknowledge your feelings of guilt. Acknowledge that you feel that you wish you could do that thing. And you can say it. The next most powerful thing is just to tell them, these are my goals, these are my values, and that's why I can't do it. Right. So for me, it's, I'm sorry, I'm getting up and I'm working out in the morning. So I got to be out. I need to be home by 11. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to get up in the morning. Sorry, that's someone else's goal. If I made that sound like that was mine, I wish I could get up super early in the morning. That won't be my excuse. So just so we're all clear. But it's really okay to put yourself first. Another strategy to get ready for being able to say no comfortably is to take time to practice. Okay. Take time to run through. If you're going to say it, find someone to talk to. One of my big things now is I'm using this Loom. Stacia's getting me to use this Loom to send you guys messages and things, just because it's a video of me with my screen. It's kind of cool. But last night I did not want to do it. And so last night I just did 3 or 4 of them, and I deleted 3 or 4 of them. And now I'm down to 2. And I'm like, I still don't know if this is very, very good. I don't know if this, so I sent it to Stacia to say, hey, can you help me out here? And, does this sound okay? So hopefully she's going to give me some feedback on that later. So I just sent it to her. But that's a way too. You can get feedback about, does this work? Is this a powerful enough statement? Is it, so role play with somebody. If you're not sure of how to say no safely, right? Reach out to someone that you trust and say, I need to say no to this thing. Can I just walk through it with you? And it's amazing. I met with my therapist today, and thank you, Linda. And we talked a lot about those things, and it really helped me to shed some of my guilt about a lot of things that I've had in my life. So you can do it, and it doesn't take a lot of work, right? But you do have to get clear on what's important to you. So, and be gentle, forgive yourself. Say that you didn't say no in the most eloquent way, or that their feelings were hurt. Take some time to lick your wounds afterwards, but also be forgiving to yourself. We're not robots. We're not perfect. I tell you all of my stories. Why? To show you that I've been doing this and teaching this for 30 years. Oops, I slipped. Never mind. I'm going to say 10. And I'm still working on it every single day. I am a work in progress. So don't worry about it. Don't give up. Don't feel overwhelmed. Don't think that you can't do this. You can do this. Every single bit of it. And then finally, and part of that, it's the final piece, is learning from those experiences. So you didn't have that eloquent patch. Give yourself some love first, but then go, what could I have done better? Where did it go sideways? So learn from that experience. And if you're not sure, share it with a friend again, walk through it, but make sure that you are not playing the victim and making them the monster. That's why it can be really difficult. And that's why I love recording things if both are in agreement, but being able to, so you can play it back and really see the truth of it. Because that's a little trick that our brain plays on us. It wants to remember things the way that it wants to remember things. And we all experience and compartmentalize things differently. So we will bring that memory and that feeling forward, but it's changed because it's been through our processors. So that's why self-awareness, openness, honesty with yourself, knowing what's important to you is vital to being able to know what your boundaries are, to being able to know what you want to say yes to and what you want to say no to. So you don't end up like me feeling guilty all the time when you say no because my yes to myself wasn't strong enough. So that is what I want for you. And if you are interested, does this sound something like you want to work on? Because I know it's taken me a lot of years, but I have figured out how to help people walk through this path a lot quicker than I did it because of my experience, because of all the things that I just told you that I've done with even learning how to say no. I've done with my own life with goal setting, figuring out what your vision, mission, values are, figuring out what is most important to you so that you know what to say yes to and what you know to say no to. And then to create a plan, a schedule, a list of habits to help you actually push you towards that goal, propel you towards that goal. So if this sounds like it's something that interests you, I would love for you to come on my retreat that is coming up. I'm going to be hosting them all year round, and this may or not be the right time for you coming up. But if it's something that you're interested in, learning more about, or you would like to jump in and say, yes, San, I want some more time to do this. It's time for me to get this stuff done and to finally put that guilt aside so that I can say yes to myself. So if that's something you want to do, please go to ZandraRossPromo.com. We'll have the the link in the comment section, or comment below if you want to book a call with me to discuss how we can get you to the next retreat, or if a retreat's right for you. So don't worry about it. If you just want to go, what is this all about, Zan? What's the process? What are you going to be doing? How can you help me? Is this the right time for me? Am I the right person? I want to make sure that this is right for you. But I guarantee if my message resonates with you, it is the right time. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. It's time to step into who you really want to be and live that life that you really want to live. Okay, so come and check me out, ZandraRossPromo.com, and or leave a comment below and say, let's chat. And I will reach out to you and we'll set some time up that works for you. And it's time. You deserve it. All right. Have a fantastic week. Let me know what you thought of this show. It always helps me to make the next show that much more impactful, interesting, and hopefully transformative for you, right? Because all I want for every single person like you is to be able to have the tools so that they can evolve into that next best version of themselves. Thank you for joining me on Just the Tip Tuesday. Talk to you soon.